You know, when you stand up for your life, it's because you choose to sit down. And I found that really profound because there's so many things that can happen throughout the day, a lot of things that you don't know what's going to happen, and that gives you this sense of a loss of control. And if there's anything that you can control is your own peace of mind. So beginning my day with a sense of stillness is really important.
Breathe in, breathe out. Hey, come alive. Breathe in, breathe out.
And sometimes I'll have some deep revelation. Sometimes I'll just have a sense of clarity. Sometimes I'll just be in peace and quiet. And I'm learning more and more the importance of nothing. I'm not sure how much you're actually able to be grateful for anything if you can't accept the absence of everything. So for me, the sitting part, well, let's just take sitting out of it, just being in silence. Feels awkward, right? But this is what I think is important, is normalizing those things that feel awkward. Normalizing being bored. You know, sometimes we're on our phones and we just scroll mindlessly. And it is a mindless practice at times. And then sometimes, you know, because I'm a content creator, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a storyteller, I need it for inspiration. Simultaneously, I realize how consuming that can be, and I think it's really important that you just shut off for a second and just take time to be, and to be nothing, to try to not identify yourself with anything or any task or any occupation. Just be, and be still. I found the practice profound, all the while simultaneously it's a mindful practice.
You got the white knuckles holding on it tight, keeping your fears bottled up inside, heading for collision in the night. To really live, you gotta die.
And I do this from time to time. Sometimes I'll just sit and I'll write notes in my phone, and then other times I just have this creative genius that comes over me and is with me, and I feel like I need to work on something. And other times I just need to write. This particular morning I just decided to write whatever came to mind. And sometimes I write and I'm not really sure what I'm saying. So I guess this will be an attempt to explain the things that I did write. First one, this one's about dance. It said, dance for connection, rather competition. Explore the soul and the souls surrounding you. Move and be moved. Create a movement with those that dance with you in circles. I think I've come to this place within my journey of movement that competition really taints my experience of dance, and what I yearn for more is to dance for connection, to connect with somebody else or another community. One of my greatest joys in life is going somewhere I've never been before and connecting to people through dance. But I think in the idea of competition, it's tainted me over the years where, you know, I don't really know if I'm doing it for the competition, for the win, or if I'm doing it just for the joy of dance. And I've come to this place where, man, I just want to move because it means something that's special to me, and I don't want to lose that. Maybe I'll compete again. And I had that urge at the end of last year, but I think it's withered away with just my new profound outlook on life. I hope dance can always be something that is meaningful to me and close in relationship with me without having any alternative motive except for just the simple idea of connection with others. travel to explore the world within. A lot of times we travel with this wanderlust of another place, and it is exciting to travel the world, to explore the world. But I think one thing that is more important to me is within the idea of traveling anywhere, what really changes is the interior furniture within my own mind, body, and soul. I don't know, something in you expands, things change, you see life differently. You saw it one way, now you see it a different way. You thought one thing, and now I'm not sure if I believed it anymore. And you really do expand through exploration. So travel the world, not just to explore the world, but to explore the world within yourself. And I think that practice itself is something that helps us grow as human beings. And sometimes when we have what I call a block mentality, like you're only worried about what's on your block, you're only really worried about a certain radius within your life, and you're not seeing a bigger picture. You're not seeing the world in how big and scary and beautiful it is, and how small and insignificant you can be, and yet simultaneously how small and insignificant you are, you're also that much more important to the experience of everything around you. I wrote this one. This is the best one. To whom this may concern, it's none of your business. I guess I wrote that to myself, and I wrote that to others. To whom this may concern, it's none of your business. So much of our life is focused on impressing, wondering, investigating, worrying about other people. To whom this may concern, it's none of your business. Oh, this is good. Art belongs to no one, not even the author, but it is always written and created by someone who felt something. This one's a tough one, but the way that I interpret that thought, that meditation, is as an artist, you create things and you try to own them and hold them and grasp them and control them. But in my experience, some of my best creations or creative moments really had nothing to do with me trying to control my thoughts, but me just being. And what you realize is that art, it doesn't belong to me, and it doesn't really belong to anyone, but it is something to be experienced in the creative process, and also simultaneously when you're done with it, for someone to experience the final product. All the while keeping in mind that somebody felt something when it was created. And I think that's what's important, is for you to not take a full egotistical ownership on what you create, but also know that you are feeling something, and that is your human experience. And when you're experiencing somebody's art, knowing that that individual, whoever it may be in the world, felt something. And if you can connect to that feeling, well, I think that that's the connection of art. I wrote, "Dear self, stop talking to me. Listen." That would be my general concept of meditation, or stillness, silence. Just stop talking. Just listen. I think that's good to do, not just in meditation, in conversation, which I have a lot of trouble with because I love to talk. Or just being present in any moment, just stopping, pausing, and stop talking. Just listen. Stop looking, stop searching. Just listen. Just be. I can't tell you how many times I find myself and I catch others in a great moment, and immediately they're just... And although it's not talking, it's the mind chatter. Stop talking. Just listen. And sometimes that does happen with words too. Sometimes that also happens within our emotions. Just stop talking. Just listen. I probably got super deep on this one. A journey to the sun is discovering what lights up your world. That's a good one. Okay. A journey to the sun. I interpret that as every day you wake up to sunrise. You're always chasing a sunrise. What's the next day? The next day. That can become mundane every day. Whatever it is that you're doing, you're just chasing the sun. And our idea of waking up just because to wake up is, I think, the very thing that becomes very toxic in our life. Is it's toxic and it becomes boring. But when you wake up, not to just the sun itself, but to what lights your world up, you know, what brings you life, what wakes you up in the morning. I always said that it's not so much about passion, it's not so much about your calling, but if you can find something that just wakes you up in the morning, you're ahead of most people. Oh, this is a good one. To be lost is the brave adventure to be opened up to the possibility to be found. I think that I've been around this conversation for a long time. If you can find the place where you feel at peace when you're lost, that's another level of the spiritual journey, in my opinion. Because you're not worried or you're not anxious or have anxiety about being lost. You understand that to be found or to discover yourself or to be discovered, you have to be lost. To create anything begins and ends with nothing. A something from nothing, ending with pouring everything out until there's nothing left. The process. I think that this is a big part of why I started the practice of meditation and stillness, is realizing that everything does begin with nothing. It's creating something from nothing. And once you're in the process, it's putting and pouring everything you've got into that creative process. And you end up with nothing. And you're exhausted because you took everything out of yourself and put it into that. And you're tired and you are exhausted, but there's no other feeling than knowing that you're tired because you gave it your all. And I think that's the process of any creative journey. It starts from nothing, and it also ends with nothing. This is the last one. To truly hold something, you first have to know the pains of opening your own palms. Dash, let go. I kind of imagine like monkey bars. If you're just holding on to a monkey bar, you're just hanging there. When the concept of monkey bars is to gain momentum and to grab and swing and catch and then let go and then grab and swing and catch. It is this rhythm, it's a cycle. But if you are holding on to something for so long and you're just hanging there, that's very painful. So you have to know those pains of how that feels. Physically, metaphorically, of letting something go. A lot of it is not necessarily just the process of letting go, it's because you're so used to holding on to something. You're so holding tightly and grasping to a concept, to a theory, to a belief, or even a moment. You just hold on to it because this is where you live. And that process of letting go is one of the most painful things, because it is essentially knowing for yourself that as you let go, it means you are moving forward to whatever it is you're meant to hold on to next. And I find in my own journey that the more that becomes a monkey bar exercise, grab, swing, let go, grab, swing, let go, it becomes more of just the cycle of life, then it becomes a painful experience. And then when you do hold on to something, you're grateful because you know how painful and how hard it was to let go of what was before you. So to truly hold on to something, you first have to know that painful experience of opening your palms just so that you can be available and open to grasp the next thing. So that's a process. That's something that I've done and I've practiced and I've tried over time and time again. And this is something that I've been doing more often, where as soon as I'm done with my meditation, I'll either journal, I'll write, or I will write it down on the board. This happens to be the window, but I write it down because it helps me as I take what's in here and I put it in front of me. It helps me to be able to see what's living within here. So try that out. I think that it's really important to have your thoughts out in front of you so that you can see them. And also, it's an artistic expression. So if you can bring yourself to this place where you feel safe within your own interior world, and then taking that, whatever is in here, and putting it out to the world, maybe if it's just for you, well, that's the beginning of art.
Close your